Hello, I'm Francesco Fontanelli, a field archaeologist with Heritage Malta. I'm going to talk about the notebooks which were penned by Sir Temi Zammit between the period covered by 1905 and 1935, when Zammit was the director of the National Museum and the curator of the archaeological department. And I've chosen these notebooks because in my opinion, are very important for the job that I do, and not only for myself, but even for everyone, because they have a lot of information that are part of our history and of the Maltese history. The mentioned notebooks were penned by Sir Temi Zammit during 30 years, the period where he was the director of the National Museum. The beginning of the 19th century was a very important and prolific period for the Maltese archaeology, because they were discovered and excavated a lot of the most important sites, actual sites in Malta. And the documentation that was collected at the time, according to the normal attitude, was not that much detailed, but Zammit, he approached the excavation in another way. Since he was a doctor, he was very detailed in the data that he was collecting, and this we can realize it from these notebooks. And for us, everyone, is very important, because as you can imagine, once we start an excavation and we start removing soil, artifacts, structure, etc., we're going to lose the information unless we're not going to document it. So what Zammit did during that period was something important, and every time we open the book and we go through them, we get a good idea and we get a lot of information that otherwise we could not manage to get them. The collection itself is composed of 17 books, which are focused either on a specific site or different sites that they were discovered during the works that they were carried during Zammit duties. Most of the information collected in the notebooks were directly written on site or immediately after, with the exclusion of a few notebooks. For example, the notebook which I have in front of me is the notebook of the diary of the excavation that they were carried at Tarshian temples. And when I open it, you can have an idea of what the documentation consists of. So all of the books have almost the same style, which means they were handwritten, obviously, and there are notes, annotation, observation, measurements of the artifacts which were discovered, of the walls, every masonry, etc. They were slowly uncovered from the soil. So, for example, here we have some sketches of the cultural material of the pots that they were uncovered during the season of 1915 and 1916, and with their measurements and a short description of it. In other notebooks, we have also photographs we were collecting during these excavations, like, for example, this, like we have over here. Here, in fact, we have pictures of some of the discoveries which were considered highly important from Zammit, and showing the excavation itself and the discovery themselves. And this is a very important source. I would like to focus on another type of data collected by Zammit, the data of different sites that they were discovered during normal road works or public works. The procedure was quite straightforward. If some archaeological discovery was encountered, they used to call the director of the National Museum, or they contacted directly the archaeological department, who used to go on site and check the discovery. And some of the notes which are here in this books, in this book and in others, are these. Basically, for example, here they discover a tomb, and on site the director or someone else from his team was collecting the information and taking sketches, measurements, and different notes. Although Malta is a small island, what we can understand from this notebook is that Malta is very rich in archaeology. This, together with the fact that some of the sites and the artifacts mentioned in the notebooks are not yet published or well known, makes these notebooks a very important source for everyone, not only for the archaeologist.